car to my right bears the two important letters in its model name that designate this as a true benchmark for exactly what a sports roadster should be. It's rapidly appreciating and becoming a true modern classic. Hello and welcome to the R129 generation Mercedes SL. Today I have the keys to this. It's a 1990 Mercedes 300sl. We're going to take a proper look around it inside and out and get it out on the road, and then we're going to talk a little bit about why this is increasing in popularity at an immense rate and becoming a truly desirable and sought after modern classic roadster. So let's get into it. A wonderful blend of styling, performance and reliability. It could only be a classic Mercedes. The Merc does this thing so well, and the generation of SL in which this took over from, the R107, is a real testament to that. Highly sought after on the classic market and immensely popular in its day. Taking over from that model was going to be no easy feat, but the R129 represented a great leap forward for Mercedes and did the job very well indeed. With the R129, Mercedes pretty much had the sports touring roadster market cornered. Competitors simply couldn't keep up, but that had long been the case. The SL name was nothing short of a benchmark when it came to luxury sports roadsters, and the R129 just further cemented that. You see, the R129 not only modernised styling and improved performance, it increased safety too. This was by far the safest generation of SL there had ever been, and it was in fact one of the safest cars on the road at the time, despite the fact it was an open-top roadster, with handy features like a pop-up roll bar in the case of a rolling accident. Your survival rate and risk of injury was drastically reduced with one of these compared to an R107 that came before. The cabin of the 129 was textbook Mercedes. Anyone who spent time with a Merc of this heritage will know exactly what I'm talking about there. High quality materials used, a really good level of fit and finish, and generally just a very comfortable place to be. This car is no exception. It's slightly higher on the mileage side, tipping just over 100,000, and it is a little bit worn in places, but generally it's worn those miles very well. There's a good level of equipment for the era, and it is very well laid out. It's comfortable, it's usable, it gets top marks from me. Now, being an SL, you will notice that there is a distinct lack of roof above me, but you're actually spoiled for choice with one of these. You've got an electric folding soft top and a fully removable hard top roof that can latch over the top if you don't want a soft top. It really does transform the look of the car. Now, I do have some complaints, and anyone who's spent some time with either this generation of SL or the ones prior will know exactly what I'm about to say. The removable hardtop is ridiculously hard to take off. It is at least a two-man job, realistically a three in some cases, especially if you have the panoramic glass in your roof. It's simply awkward. It's not particularly heavy, but to get it off by yourself would be a real challenge. That is often the case with removable hardtops. The Porsche 911 or BMW Z3 come to mind as well, but nothing is quite as difficult as an SL. There was a variety of engines available with the R129, spanning from 6 cylinders right the way up to 12. Typically, these cars came with 6 or 8 cylinder engines, the most popular being a 280, which was the lowest spec car you could get, or a 300, 320, or in some cases a 500SL, which was the V8. The 6-cylinder engines are famed for their reliability and really tend to see sky-high mileage at this point in their lives, but it's something they're very capable of. Maintenance is cheap, parts are still readily available, so that tends to be the one people are going for if they want to use the car on a very regular basis. That being said, the V8s are very good engines in their own right. Both the ones in this and the prior generation of SL are equally as capable of high mileage. The 7.3 litre V12 was the top flight model, but if you were feeling a little bit more frugal, you could get a 6 litre V12, though these are very few and far between and highly sought after in the collector's market. So, we've got the hardtop on the SL for the road test. What is it like? As you'd probably expect from a Mercedes of this era, it's a very good car. I have no complaints. It doesn't do anything poorly. It does exactly what's asked of it. It eats up the miles really very well, and it feels such a solid, well-built car. It feels substantial, if you will. You put your foot down and it gets up and goes. It's not massively fast, but it does have a nice level of power. That straight 6 is a very good engine. If you were doing a London to Monaco cruise, that is where this car will be at home. It's what it was really designed for, and it's what it excels at.
The automatic box is quite good. That being said, it does seem a little bit hesitant to change gears when you're accelerating in, say, a more exuberant fashion. It sort of holds onto the gears a little bit longer than I would like. It sounds a little bit uncomfortable almost. To mirror that, when you are at slower speeds, the gearbox seems a little bit laggy, if you will. It's very unsure of itself. In stop-start traffic and pulling away from junctions, it almost asks you, are you sure you want to pull away right now? Okay, if you are, let's go. There is a definite pause between my input to the throttle and when everything sort of gets going. That being said, when everything does get going, it does so quite well. This being the 3-litre car is a nice mid-range. It's not the fastest thing ever, and you do lack that 8-cylinder soundtrack. However, for modern day speeds, it's perfectly fine. I'm cruising at about 50 miles an hour now, and it's nice and quiet. It's at a nice point in the rev range. This is where this car is at home, as I said earlier. Fit and finish is generally quite good throughout. That being said, there is a lot more bluster and wind noise than I would expect with the roof up. I think perhaps this window isn't sealed perfectly because I'm noticing a distinct wind noise as I pick up speed from over here. Aside from that, there's not much in the way of cabin creak. Everything seems well placed. It's a very comfortable car to live with. Everything's very ergonomically designed. In the corners, it feels quite nice and tight. It's very precise. There's not a lot in the way of body roll. It's a very hard car to fault in that respect. As I'll say many times throughout this video, it just does everything very well. It's incredibly well engineered. It's very reliable. It's decently economical as well. Obviously, it's not a Toyota Prius, but you do get a respectable fuel MPG figure from this. You could very comfortably use this every day, and I think a lot of people will start to as they become a bit more of a sought-after modern classic.
So then, the R129 Generation SL, where do I stand? What do I think? Well, in my opinion, it is a very good car, but you probably already knew that. These have a wonderful reputation. They drive well, they're comfortable, they're very livable and usable, and they're endlessly reliable. And in 6-cylinder form, they're pretty economical too. At the current price point, I think they are tremendous value for money. You can get a very, very good example of these sub £5,000, and I think it has a good level of retro cool at a very attainable level. I don't think it'll be that way for long. If you look at the previous generation R107, these are astronomical in money now, and I think the same thing will happen with these as time comes on. But we shall see on that one. My only real criticism of the R129, it's a little bit plain, perhaps even boring. And I know that's a bit of an odd criticism considering I've praised this car quite a lot in the video, but I can't help but think, despite the fact it's very well engineered and it does its job as it should, it doesn't set the world on fire. It's not exciting. And I think for a classic or even modern classic sports roadster, you do want that a little bit, because otherwise you get something a little bit more sensible, like a C or an S-Class or a BMW, Audi, Swedish, Italian equivalent. It just doesn't do anything crazy for me yet. Perhaps that will come with time. It certainly has with the older generations of SLs, but at the moment, it's in a weird point in terms of age and heritage. It does have some retro cool, as I said earlier, but I don't think it's quite there yet. But perhaps that's why now's a good time to buy.